Welcome to Take a Wander with Shebs with yours truly, Shebs from Shebs the Wanderer. Now, today my guest is Sahil Pole. Now, Sahil is a 21-year-old from India. The reason why I wanted to bring him on and for him to tell me his journey up to now was also maybe to look forward to what's coming up in the coming years. Because, as I said, he's 21 years of age. If I remember from my time, it was a time where I really began my journeys. Our main topic of discussion was his travel around India and some of the places he told me to go to apart from Taj Mahal, which is quite insightful. Here are some of his photos from some of his journeys. Let's take a look into what he had to say. Hi Sahil, how are you? You okay?
I'm doing all good. Hi, Shebs. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you very much. Thank you for coming on and talking to us today. How has India been?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me here, Shebs. It's really sweet of you to ask me to do so. India, yeah, it's same like everywhere. The pandemic has hit us, and the cases are surging recently. Like we are having great numbers. So yeah, it's lockdown here. Basically, my college has started, so I am all indoors doing my lectures and all sessions. Yeah, more or the less, it's all same. Just instead of roaming outside, people are just because of lockdown sitting inside. That's it.
Talk about your experiences in travel. So you've done quite a lot of traveling. How did it all start with you? Was it from an early age? Was it recent?
Yeah, it started at early age. I mean, it wasn't specifically into travel, but in India, we Indians are basically more devotional people. We believe in God a lot. So, being from a family where my mother and father both are a lot more inclined towards these ritual things. So, I come from a place, Maharashtra in India, where we have lots of like temples and all those religious places here and there. So right from my childhood we used to go to visit these places, and usually for me I started realizing that I was more happy and enjoying the journey to reach those places rather than really spending my time there. So maybe from that thing, right from my childhood, I started getting this pleasure out of traveling and like visiting new places.
What sort of stuff did you learn from it? Was it on a cultural level? Were you changing as an
Yeah, the
individual?
main essence of traveling according to me is you get to know different cultures a lot. I mean, when you stay at same place, you are just opening yourself to a structured or a similar structure of mindset, culture, those people. But when you step out and go outside, you get to know a new kind of people, the new kind of living, their food, their the way they wear the clothes, everything changes. And in India, we have like 30 odd states. Even in each individual state we have a lot number of more districts. So even when you travel for say 50-60 kilometers, some part of the culture changes, language changes, clothing changes, their beliefs, their regional beliefs, all those things do change. And that is one thing where I learned to adapt to these changes. And these are basically important skills an individual must have, even though if he's working in his corporate life or anywhere. Adapting to change is something that an individual should really have. So that is what traveling teaches us, to adapt to new changes, to accept others beliefs, to accept other people's point of view, how do they think. We accept those things.
Tell me about some of your experiences that you remember just traveling around India when you were at an early age.
Well, there are lots of experiences to talk about. The best I would say, like the from the time I left my home, so during my graduation I stayed in a place called Aurangabad. So it's also in Maharashtra itself. So during my graduation I had this freedom to like travel anywhere. I was at the age where I didn't need permission of anyone and I could like go. So I used to collect a couple of my friends and we used to go. So this all journey of traveling to like these tourist places rather than religious places started from there itself in those 4 years. So places like Konkan, it's a pure, it's on the western coast of India. You might have heard Mumbai, right?
Yes, of
yeah
course.
so this so this Konkan part is the southern part of Mumbai. Even some people argue that Mumbai is also a part of Konkan itself, but Konkan is a bit southern part of Mumbai and it's a long stretch over the eastern coast. So we went in there, It was a like 6 to 7 days trip. We booked a private vehicle. We were almost 25 odd friends of mine from different batches. We all started our trip from there. Overnight, we reached Konkan. We had one of our senior from the same college who had started his travel agency there in the Konkan. And Konkan is a place of beautiful beaches. You get to see a pure coastal regions culture over there. The food, the fishes, prawns, all those things. So yeah, it was a really thrilling experience to visit Konkan to see those beautiful beaches. And one good thing was that as he was our very own senior, so he took us to such beaches which had no crowd. I mean, not a single person. It was just the beach, nature, and only the 25 hours. That's it. So we got a chance to visit those isolated places. Of course, you had to walk a lot. You had to travel a lot to get to such places where usually there were no people. It was just us. But the kind of beaches that I saw there were really, I mean, fantastic. I had never seen such beaches ever.
Awesome. I think your early journeys can define you and help you. It certainly did with me. So it sounds like you had a bit of an understanding of what it's like after graduation.
Post my graduation, like just after giving the exams, just the five of us, me and my four other friends, we decided to go to the Himalayas. Basically, we have a state called Himachal Pradesh in India, and therein we have the Himalayan range. So we got a travel agency. They decided to, like, in 3,000 rupees in Indian currency. So for 4 days, we had to trek to a place called as Brigu Lake. So it was basically a lake that was frozen in summer. I mean, I think, yeah, I went at the end of May and the first week of June something. So again, it was the same day, same thing. We started our journey by train from Maharashtra. It took us almost 18 to 20 hours to reach to Delhi. From Delhi, the capital of India. Then from Delhi, I mean, in Delhi itself, on that tour, we visited to Chandigarh, where we went to the rock garden and surrounding places. From Chandigarh, we took an overnight travels, and we traveled to Himachal Pradesh, Manali. And in Manali, we stayed there. Manali is a beautiful place. I mean, if you look at Instagram pages, they'll be flooded with pictures from Manali. So Manali is something that every Indian wants to visit. So then in Manali, we had this river. I forgot the name of the river, but we did, I mean, many sporting events in that in the river, sorry. And post that, after doing a bit of shopping and all those things there, the next day morning, we started the trek. So basically, the trek started a day after we reached Manali. So we had got a lot of rest earlier. So the trek started right from the base camp at Manali. We started walking, and I don't get the exact numbers, but it was somewhere around 11,000 to 12,000 feet from the sea level. So we had reached to the base camp. As soon as it was like the sunset happened, the temperature started dropping drastically. I mean, yeah, then the early morning, we woke up at say 5 6 something, did all those basic course, and again we started trekking. So in Himachal Pradesh, we have a thing called in those a forest line. So it's basically when you start trekking, you have to clear the forest line, and once you clear the forest line, then you will be into the snow part of the mountain. Those mountain peaks covered into white snow everywhere. So on the backside, I had pure white snow and mountains, and on the backside, when I looked down, I had all those sloping mountains and people like my friends trekking upside and other people trekking above. So one thing to learn from there was, in life, maybe many people will tell you that some things cannot be done or they are difficult to achieve. So that is one learning. Golden Temple is something I really wanted to visit right from the time I mean, I got my understanding. So that was again a dream come true to visit Golden Temple. From there, it's just some 20 kilometers ride. You reach to a place which is India and Pakistan's border. So the importance of this Wagha border, it's called as Wagha border. So we have a beat retreat ceremony at this place. What basically happens is you have a gate in between, and on that side you have Pakistan army, and on this side you have Indian army. And at the time of sunset, I think it's 5:30 or 6 is the timing, they have this beating treat ceremony. If you could Google, you can read more about this ceremony. It was decided by some old ministers and all those things. I have no idea about that, but that is something will make your goosebumps. It will give you goosebumps. And I have seen a lot many foreign residents as well to attend this show there. And this is a ceremony that every Indian should watch. That will give them goosebumps. That will make every Indian proud.
So there's been a lot of experiences you've had, obviously, around India, and
Yeah.
as you've just mentioned, there's plenty to see outside of maybe the Taj Mahal.
One thing I can surely tell you is that India is not only about Taj Mahal. I mean, I don't know what people outside India portray India as a travel and tourism, but even if you get into smaller places or smaller cities of this country, you will find a really beautiful architecture. You may find some beautiful, what can I say? Do you know ghats? Ghats are those curvy roads that you make through the mountains. So you can see that even my hometown, I am from Yavatmal, so my hometown is on a plateau region. So in order to come to this place, you will have to go through these ghats from every now and then. But still, this place is not famous at a national level. So the main part or the main thing that I would like to enlighten you is that in India there are many such places which are not familiar at even Indian level. So you can forget about global, but even at India, we Indians don't know many places that are really famous, that are really worth visiting at least once in a lifetime.
Where would you like to go outside of India?
Switzerland.
Why Switzerland?
From my childhood, I have been fan of Shahrukh Khan. He's an actor in Bollywood. So yeah, we have been seeing his movies, and right from my childhood, he was my favorite actor. And in each of his movie, he had scenes either from Kashmir or from Switzerland. And even our Kashmir is called as the Switzerland of India. So right from my childhood, I had this Switzerland thing running into my mind. So yes, one place I would like to visit in my life outside India is Switzerland. Even I think Bali is a beautiful place. I mean, I was not that familiar with Bali, but from the time I have started my Instagram channel of this traveling account, so I have been getting a lot of photos of Bali on my suggestion box. So whenever I see Bali, Maldives, these places are, I mean, also must to go. But Switzerland is something that I carry in my heart right from my childhood. So maybe Switzerland will be something I'll go first, and Bali, Maldives would be something you would like to visit with your partners.
I know with all the traveling that you've done, is it on a certain budget? Would you be
Of
looking,
course, of
would you be
course.
looking to do a bit more, would you say solo backpacking, or would you be looking to do more luxury traveling?
Luxury, I would not do. Um, Solo, sometimes yes, sometimes no. I mean, not much of a solo. I mean, you need someone you trust, someone you love, someone with whom you can really share and talk with someone. So, I mean, basically a group of friends. So, luxury I would do never. And the main thing on traveling is basically the budget is the first thing. Whenever I need to travel, I tend to ask someone lift if possible. If not, I tend to travel with public transport that costs less in India. And talking about food, again, not to visit certain hi-fi restaurants and hotels. Try to uh, stay and eat less to save your money. That has been my motive. I mean, that has been my agenda, and that has served me good.
Traveling on a certain budget, hotels, why bother spending so much on, luxury hotels when you're not going to be spending much time there? I think it's different if you are maybe on a honeymoon or if you're looking to do certain things, and the hotel is good for that sort of stuff. If you were to get in a relationship, start a family, would you still travel?
Of course, I mean, I would pick a partner that also loves traveling, right? So there wouldn't be any problem in future.
And lastly, any other exciting things we can look forward to in your journey?
Yes, many places are on my list. Uh, Directly getting out of India is not definitely on my option, but yeah, we have. I mean, I have my bucket list and there are a lot more beautiful places to first visit in India itself. Not even in India, but first basically in my own state. So if I take my state for an example, we have a lot more places. If in my state itself I consider Mumbai or Pune, so these things are something that are famous on a global level. But when you see Pune, you have 10 to 20 different ports and whatnot places around this city called Pune, which I'm talking about. You have around a lot more places that you can visit in these monsoons and rainy seasons, where I mean you can get as close to the nature as you want to. So yeah, so definitely in future you can expect me to travel into my own very state. Then I'll start getting out of my state. Maybe some years later I may want to visit Andaman Nicobar, which is definitely on my list. And yeah, once I am confident enough that I have completed all the places in my country.
As a young man at this minute, you've got a lot to look forward to, and hopefully you enjoy your time in your 20s. I do remember how good it was,
Yeah,
and you can enjoy more travels as the years come along. So thank you very much for your time.
thanks Shebs, thanks for having me. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. There you go. That was Sahil Pole. Hopefully, you got an understanding of his life up to now and what we can look forward to in his journey. And it will be great to see what he can do in the coming years. If you'd like to follow Sahil on his journey, you can do so on Instagram at Sasta_traveller. That's it for Take a Wander with Shebs. Hope to see you all soon. Until next time, bye for now.